Hello and welcome to another episode of In Mint Condition. I'm your host Jay. Joining me is my co-host Mo.
What up, what up?
All right, we are back for another episode. This time we're going to do a mini podcast. And hopefully that'll keep us or allow us to be more consistent since we won't have to worry about getting in a full 45 to an hour. We give you a solid 30 and keep it moving.
Yes, sir.
So today we're going to be talking about What If. What If just wrapped up this past week. 9 episodes. And so we're going to focus on, because sometimes we get a little too negative on the podcast, me in particular. We say things that we don't really mean all the time. Sometimes we say things that we do mean, but
I don't think we've ever said anything we don't mean on the podcast.
I've said a couple of things that when I think of it in retrospect, I'm like, I didn't really mean that.
I hate you, Mo. Look, man.
Look,
It gets heated, emotions get...
Emotions run high, you say things you don't mean. You can't take that back. But, yeah, so we're going to try to be a little bit more positive. What If is Marvel's latest animated series. It ties in directly to the MCU. And it has some problems that we might touch on a little bit today. Again, we're going to try to stay positive. We're going to try to focus on what we like about the series. Mm-hmm. We're going to... So like I said, we're going to try to stay positive. We're going to try to focus on what we like about the series with our favorite episode. We're each going to give our favorite episode of the series. Maybe we'll go second favorite episode. And we might touch a little bit on what we think about the finale as well. But like I said, we're going to try to give you a tight 30. So we'll go where the Lord leads us. So, Mo, why don't you start off? I usually start off. Why don't you start off? What was your favorite episode of this season?
So, my favorite...
And spoilers for every episode, just in case.
That's the first time we caught it in time. My favorite episode was the Star-Lord T'Challa. I've been, before we started, we were thinking about it. And I think my top 3, I know we're not doing this, but I'll briefly say it. My top 3 would be T'Challa, Star-Lord, Doctor Strange, and then Captain Carter. But I really like the Star-Lord T'Challa, showing pretty much how he would have done things if he was in Peter Quill's shoes.
And he's perfect in every way.
Yeah, there was...
Which is just a fact.
I thought it was funny how he convinced Thanos to, change his course of actions on, equalizing the universe and everything.
Yeah, people complained about that. This was also my favorite episode, so, I'll just hop in.
Yeah.
Where I see it. But people complained about that. They were like, oh, he just talked to Thanos. Yeah, because he's T'Challa.
He's T'Challa, bro.
The greatest superhero in the Marvel universe.
I would say, the first time he showed up in Civil War when he was talking to Zemo, like that's completely in character for him. I think completely possible and plausible too for him to sit with Thanos. Hey, bro, what's up? What's going on?
And it's What If. It's supposed to be a little bit more absurd than the mainline universe. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I think the series could have done even more was lean into. Well, what are some wacky things that we can go into instead of just pitching some of these stories that fit what I feel like they wrote it. Some of the episodes of we want to be here at the end, so how do we get there?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange pops up as one of those. They wanted Doctor Strange as a super sorcerer supreme, but the way they wrote it, they didn't really. The concept of that What If is not based on the movie. Christine doesn't die in the movie. So them creating that narrative for the show, which is hilarious. One of the greatest sequences of the series.
That's what I said. It's definitely up there as one of my favorite episodes.
It's hilarious.
Because I saw on Instagram, people were like, oh, this was such a heart-wrenching episode. Oh, when she kept dying, that was so powerful or whatever. We were dying laughing.
I'm talking about we was crying.
Every single time. She was like, oh, let's get in the car. bam, a truck hits her. You know, let's go get pizza. Guy walks into the place with a gun. Like every scenario, it was just like they went even further. It was a funny sequence of events, and it was I enjoyed myself in that episode. And like Doctor Strange too is. Sorry to cut you off. You were about to say something, but I enjoyed Doctor Strange as a character, and I think that exploring how powerful he is and how powerful he can be is really interesting. And I think as an episode, they did really well with that one as well.
Yeah. And so, but so the T'Challa one.
Yeah.
That what if is, to me, that was one of the ones that was more closer to how what if usually goes in the comics. What's something that what's either an event that we can take and go an alternate path on, or what's something that's absurd that we can just figure out how to make work. And T'Challa going into space and becoming Star-Lord is something that's absurd and hilarious and just great. And that being one of the last performances from Chadwick Boseman is perfect. And I really enjoyed it. Maybe there's some bias. Black Panther is probably but between Avengers, the first one, and Black Panther, those are my favorite Marvel MCU movies. So I may be biased, in which case I don't care.
I would say they're great movies. Yeah, no, Chadwick did an amazing job, as always.
We were blessed to get these episodes from him.
Man, rest in peace, brother. But yeah, getting him back for this one last time was great, as always. I mean, going beyond that, all the performances in this episode, I think in the whole series too. I don't think there was any performance that I didn't like, but
I think some of them kind of fell flat, but generally the performances were all pretty good. But when you get actors that aren't trained in voice acting, it could go either way. And some of them went bad, but most of them did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Some of them, their voices did not sound like them. Haley Atwell, I thought, did not sound like herself. I don't know. But when I heard her voice, I was just like, I know it's her, but it doesn't sound like her. And then, but Benedict Cumberbatch was probably the best out of all of them. Because I was
gonna say because he's
part
done
of his
that.
mocap work,
with Smaug
does require some voice animation.
What was I gonna say?
Michael B. Jordan did good as well. He played Cyborg in Justice League, Flashpoint.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you've got some crew members who have experience, but no, and Chadwick was better than Benedict.
I was gonna say, I was thinking
we'll give it to him. We'll give it to Chadwick.
I was gonna interrupt, but I didn't want to like no, you're wrong. It was Chadwick.
No, I was wrong. It was Chadwick.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Benedict Cumberbatch has the prior experience with the Hobbit movies, doing Smaug.
I feel like he's done other,
but that's probably the most
stuff
known
in animation as well.
But yeah, so he did a really good job, but definitely Chadwick, it felt like a live action performance kind of, but but yeah, great show if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, the Chadwick the Star-Lord episode, some of the things that I like about it, the action in that was very well done, and having T'Challa just be a more adept Star-Lord than Peter Quill, perfect. And the action sequences that we get really play out well, and he doesn't have the Black Panther powers, so it really requires him to be skilled and to use his resources.
It shows us that he's the GOAT.
Right. It just shows why he's such an important character, and I think had Chadwick not sadly passed away, he would have been leading Phase 4 of the MCU.
Definitely.
Because man, and the episode was just great. I like Nebula as well, and her interactions with Star-Lord. We already talked about Thanos. Korath was freaking hilarious. Man,
You're Star-Lord.
that boy was. That boy lost his mind.
Fanboyed
said,
out.
He said, we're practically best friends.
That's the title he gave us, isn't that? No, he was.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you, man.
No, that was good. That I really enjoyed that episode. It's definitely number one.
Oh yeah. Well, since we agree, we don't really have much. I don't know, and there's not much else to say. The plot of the episode, you're not really coming for the plot of What If. I think you're coming to see how the characters change and how the world. That's really what you're here for. What If? What If gives you a glimpse of an alternate world and gives you a chance to explore some of the changes and the things that happen. It also makes you appreciate the characters more. When we lost Iron Man in some of the universes, you can say, okay, these are some aspects of Tony Stark that I enjoy. These are some aspects of him that I maybe didn't appreciate as much from just the Iron Man movies or the Avengers movies. And the Star-Lord episode just furthered my love for T'Challa. And yeah, it was just a great episode. And it's self-contained. You don't need the finale. And that's one of the complaints that I did have, was that you could tell it was building up to the big finale.
I didn't say we might as well talk about the things we didn't like about the show, which is not much. But that's I think that's another thing that we agree on, is like what we didn't like. It's not about if they should or shouldn't have, but we didn't like that they, made every episode lead up to everybody coming together to beat Ultron. Like, I enjoyed it when it was just like, episode by episode, something different, like a different story. Like, Captain Carter, Star-Lord, T'Challa was episode 3. If the Avengers died, making these separated universes with different stories, and just like, carrying that on. I would have enjoyed that a little bit better, but, that's the route they took it. It was still good.
And they had to cut an episode because they were going to do What If Gamora killed Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were going to have Tony land on Sakaar in that episode. But they had to cut it because of COVID. They weren't able to finish it in time, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it was some type of constraint that they had. They weren't able to finish it up. They might push that to next season. My hope for the future of the series, because now in the animation I've seen split opinions about. What did you think about it?
I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And I know I addressed that when we first saw the trailer for the show. That I wasn't the biggest fan of the way the animation looked. It wasn't the worst. I think like show like Rebels, I think that animation is like way worse compared to this. But I'm like on the fence with it. It wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, but it is what we got.
There was definitely some moments where the animation was lacking, but I think overall the animation was solid, and it has a unique look. And I think I would like to see more of this. So moving forward into the future, I think give us a 26 episode season. You can dedicate some of the episodes to the Guardians of the Multiverse. Maybe have them meet up in an episode, but I would lose any like long form arc. Just make them episodic, make it an anthology. Make each episode a isolated episode. And if an episode is popular, like if one of these episodes was hugely popular, I know the zombie episode.
Oh yeah.
People loved. I'm not a huge fan of zombies, but um, it got a lot of acclaim.
You scared of the
So
zombies?
shut your stupid. Um, but so I could see some if they want to give an episode a sequel to explore more of that universe. I think that would be cool. But I think making it more of an anthology, making it more episodic,
Yeah.
would lean into how it is in the comics and would help. It would help. It would help the series overall, because the T'Challa episode to me was so perfect because it told the full story, and then they tacked on the ego stuff at the end, which it was unnecessary. But it left a cliffhanger for them to say, all right, if we want to come back and explore this, we'll explore this. And in this is something where I would feel less. I wouldn't feel some type of way about it if they recast a voice actor for T'Challa.
Yeah, I think that would be an acceptable move to make for like this show. I don't think recasting.
I don't want them
T'Challa-
recasted in live.
I was gonna
action.
say live action is a
But
mistake.
I think if you're able to find somebody who's able to do his voice, animation it's not as big of a deal for me as it will be if they recast him in live action.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want him recast in live action. With this, you can get his likeness. If you can replicate his voice enough, then we could have. Then I would definitely be on board for more Star-Lord episodes.
Yeah.
And seeing some of his some of the adventures he goes on with the Ravagers would be really interesting to see. And I think that. I think moving forward into the second season, I think any of these episodes could get a sequel.
Yeah.
There was a post-credit scene to the last episode that revealed they found the Hydra Stomper and somebody's inside of it. So maybe Steve found a way to preserve himself through the decades, and him and Peggy can get reunited. And it's stuff like that I think this show did really well, and I think ending each episode on a cliffhanger wasn't entirely necessary, but it was a good solid move because it allowed them a path to take each thing forward.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Marvel comics is the Spider-Girl series, and that spawned out of a what if issue. What if Peter and Mary Jane had their baby, and they had Mayday? She found out she had spider powers, became Spider-Girl, and it created one of the best series Marvel has ever done,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion.
One thing that I will say that I don't necessarily like is how with Captain Carter they made it so much like Captain America, like how it followed those same like pretty much like his movie but with her.
Yeah, to me that was the weakest episode.
Which because I like I like Captain America as like a superhero. I think he's probably in my top 10 Marvel heroes. Maybe top 5. I'd have to think about that to say that. But definitely top 10. And so like, getting a different take on him, I thought it was interesting. Making it what's her first name? Peggy Carter. I thought that I was like, yeah, that's a cool story. But, and it was cool like having it, but as the finale episode where she was in the beginning of Winter Soldier, I'm like, so y'all are just following the Captain America story with Peggy, and so I thought it would have been better if they changed her story up, make it different than Steve's, but
Yeah, I think sticking too closely to because all it was hey, this is what if Captain America again.
again,
And they just it wasn't bad, but it was very I think it was still a good episode, but it was just
yeah,
especially compared to some of the other episodes. We got like the T'Challa one, which immediately followed it, and to me was like, okay, this is what type of potential we have. This is what the series can and should be. So I think yeah. I honestly, Peggy should get revisited, and I think, like I said, I think they will because of the post-credit scene. And I think it would be interesting to see what's different, because and that's really the problem with that first episode is, well, what went differently?
Yeah.
Because really it's all the same, even them storming the Hydra base.
I was gonna say
While it played out differently, but it's still the exact same.
it was the same. Cause
plot.
like at the end, yeah, they go because Steve was captured.
Yeah.
And the reason in Captain America Steve went in the Hydra base was because Bucky,
Well,
quote
no,
unquote.
they thought he was dead.
Well, yeah. Well,
But-
I guess yeah.
And then, excuse the background noise, y'all. We are dealing with some Philistines that have no respect for the podcasting art form.
But yeah, like the reason Steve and Peggy, the reason they both stormed because they thought Bucky and Steve were dead, and so they storm it, they fight, and at the end, Steve and Peggy have to sacrifice themselves to save the day. Come back, 70 years later, it's the same outcome. Just
It's the
You know,
exact
like I said,
it's
just-
the exact same story, same outcome, just slightly
With Peggy.
altered. Slight differences, and to me, it was like, well, what if it's supposed to be? There's supposed to be some vast differences. It's not
Yeah.
just supposed to be, oh, this subtle thing happened. The world is completely different because T'Challa was taken into space by the Ravagers in episode 2. The world completely ends because of Doctor Strange in his episode. Loki takes over the Earth when all the Avengers die.
Yeah.
And then a new Avengers team. And that world, honestly, is the most interesting to me after T'Challa. Well, actually, I think T'Challa's episode and character is more interesting, but that overall world is probably the most interesting because we get to see a new Avengers. It's Captain America, Captain Marvel, and whoever else they're able to wrangle up. Right now, it's the Age of Ultron, Black Widow with them. She just joined them, but I want to see who else got brought into the team. And
we were talking about that at the end of the episode. We were like, who was it? Who could be? It could be. We were saying it could be Black Panther. He could be on the team.
Yep.
Who else did we say?
Maybe Ant-Man gets comes out early, or Hank comes out of retirement, or Hope becomes Wasp.
Well, in that universe, it can't be.
Oh,
Hank
that's right.
because he
And Hope is dead too.
killed everyone. And Hope, yeah.
Never mind. But
yeah, like the possibilities for that.
There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe the Sorcerer Supreme joins the team.
That would be sweet. Cause I was
See, let us write a script.
Cause dude, Doctor Strange is cold.
Let me just write a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. They could do Wong.
Yeah, Wong would be sweet.
Instead of, and that would be better than the Ancient One, honestly. What were you gonna say?
What was I gonna say? No, Wong would be nice. Maybe Mordo.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Cause we didn't really. We got to see is him in Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
And
he's only
even in
shown
that,
up
he was
once.
sweet in that.
I
was like, dog, Mordo, bad.
Yeah.
We probably.
Yeah. See, and see. They need to let me write. I'm surprised Mordo didn't show up in the Doctor Strange episode, but
I am too, actually.
they were dealing with a lot of stuff.
I was gonna say, yeah.
They had to kill Christine 400 times.
Man.
If you would just watch that clip, that
Comedy gold,
sequence,
bro.
that's freaking hilarious. The timing was perfect. I defy you to find a funnier sequence in anything Marvel has ever done.
Oh my god.
But yeah, this has been great. The finale, I felt this should have been more than 9 episodes, and that's why I think the next season needs to be just do a regular 26 episode season.
And that would be nice, especially if they don't connect the episodes. That would be sweet, because we could like get a variety of different things. I'm trying to think of what they could do. Like the possibilities are like endless, really.
I would like to see some more attention given to Hulk.
That would be nice.
What if Hulk didn't leave Earth after Age of Ultron? Civil War would be great if they switched up some of the teams on there.
Make it like the comic.
What if Wasp went with Ant-Man to Civil War?
Yeah.
And I mean, we could see some. Those would both be really good ones. What if Thor went for the head? There's so much stuff that they can do, and really, when you're doing what if, you just have to be willing to ask those questions and go all the way with it. The first what if comic was, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
And from there, they just went crazy. And
they're in the boardroom. Give me ideas. Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
Aunt May gets bit by the spider. In one of the issues, they just Betty Brant gets bit by the spider. Flash gets bit by the spider. They just do whatever. And there's so many aspects of the MCU at this point that they can explore, that it can go very well, and I think they just have to be willing to give it the time and attention and not tie it into the main universe, because that's the whole point.
No, yeah, there's. Or we can do like what if Rhodey became Iron Man? That's another good one. Yeah, there's so much they could do, and connecting it to a main universe or like a main storyline, I think hinders them.
What if Iron Man 3 was good?
Freaking the real Mandarin, bro. Dog, I'm still not gonna get over that.
And with they've already said they're gonna be doing some Phase 4 stuff in the next season, so
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see what they come up with. If they need ideas,
my email is
you can reach us at stovallbrosproduction@gmail.com.
Man, I'm telling you,
no spaces.
And why would there be a space in the email address?
What?
Why would there be a space in the email address?
No, I just felt the need to say that. We almost got to one episode without you acting out of line. Well, here we go. We get to the end.
About to write the email. It's like, oh, thank goodness he told me there was no spaces. I
got to take this from you. This will be the last episode. And we spend a month-long break. They'll be like, dang, you was serious.
I'm dead.
But yeah, so I did like this series overall. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people be negative about it though.
Really?
I don't understand it.
What have they not liked?
Like I said, a lot of people have talked about the animation.
Yeah.
People just, I feel like they're just complaining. A lot of people don't like the storylines they've done.
Oh my god.
They complain about power scaling every episode. Why is Thanos getting beat up by his... Alright, he's not getting beat up. He was holding his own against the Black Order. And he was putting in that business.
He was holding his own. Yeah, they was getting their licks in, but this boy was...
It was two or three of them.
I was going to say, it's still... Like, they acting like Thanos is, like, all-powerful. Like, look at the comics. Like, even with Hulk, I still think that he shouldn't have handed Hulk hands like he did in Infinity War. Because in the comics, he was scared to come to Earth because of Hulk.
The business.
Like, I was like, what? Marvel fans are the worst.
No, they're not. There is another. There is another.
I'll give you that. But they just...
Them Snyder boys will ruin your day.
Yeah, that's dumb. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, a lot of people have just been. It's mostly been on Twitter though. Occasionally somebody will make a YouTube video, but we just ignore them and move on. No, I do. There was one video I did check out. I said, let me see what this guy's talking about, and some of his criticism, it was just his opinion, and he was just like, he liked some of the episodes, but some of the episodes he was like, I can't get with it. And I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, I mean, people are always gonna complain. I think with it being the MCU, people are gonna be taking even more shots at it just because of that.
Yeah, you can't please everybody.
Screw them. No, and I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet, but I think that'll probably end up producing some what-if moments.
I would say definitely a few. Honestly, because I'm like trying to think back to all the movies and all the different like scenarios that they could like change up. Like instead of this happening, what if this happened?
There's a lot they can do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see what they decide to pull off. But yeah, you got anything else?
Send me money to my Cash App. Is no.
If you would like to support us financially, that would clear up more time.
I would say,
I'm just saying.
Not mandatory. We're not telling you to.
We do work full-time jobs.
It'd be nice, send us some.
Our own peace comes before doing extracurriculars. Even though we love the podcast, we gotta watch our own mental states. But we are gonna try to do this more regularly, and with this short form, we should be able to pump out some more. So, thank you for tuning into this. But that is all. Adios. Stay safe.
Later.
Get the vaccine, you idiots. Jesus. Do you know how many? The whole school was out. I'm sorry. We're done. Goodbye.
Peace.
Peace.